about the team this season a little bit. You guys are 10-1 right now. You have two more matchups before the ACC championships and then NCAA's. What were the kind of expectations heading into the season for you, Coach? And how do you think it's going so far?
Yeah, the expectations I think always stay the same here, and that is obviously to win as much as we possibly can. And there was a lot of changes with our lineup from last year to this year. Some of it was due to graduation. Some of it was guys redshirting this year. Some were because of injuries and weight changes. So, as we finished last year, we were looking at it like, hey, we got a lot of really good guys returning, but electing the redshirt some guys and Isaac going up to heavyweight kind of shifted our lineup a little bit. So I've been impressed with the response with the current lineup and having a lot of new faces in there. I think the standard remains the same, and guys have been, staying the course with the culture of our program, which is obviously, I think, helped us in the long term. And then in the short term, these guys are improving week to week, and we've had some pretty big wins as far as the dual meet team. So every week, someone seems to be stepping up.
Can you talk a little bit about the addition of, you guys' coaching staff changed a little bit from
Yeah.
last into this season. Talk about the addition of, Zach Esposito and
Yep.
who he's brought on and helped in
Well,
the
yeah. I mean, it started with Coach Hall getting promoted to becoming the head coach at Utah Valley, which was a great opportunity for him. And so, anytime you lose someone that's been here for a long time, it's some big shoes to fill. So we knew we needed to go after and get someone that had a lot of experience, and that's exactly what Coach Esposito has. He's coached at the highest level, world champs, Olympic medals, and obviously national champs when he was coach. So he's brought a really good element, skill set in the room. He's a great recruiter, and if anyone knows Zach, he's very personable. So we didn't miss a beat when it came to personnel, and I think that's been a really big factor to keep things moving in the right direction.
You mentioned a little bit about, changing the lineup from last season to this season. Kind of what went into that? What was the deciding factors? Was it, what influenced those changes?
Yeah, well, Jackson Arrington and Ryan Jack were ACC champs. Both had a pretty good NCAA tournament. Jackson fell short of his goals, but Ryan Jack punching through, becoming an All-American. We really felt like if those guys had a year to develop, they could put themselves in position to win an NCAA title. And so having that year to really focus on training, I thought was, in the long term of things for this program would help put another guy in, as you return guys from this year and you add those two guys to next year, it could be very fruitful in the long term, but in the short term, we got to throw some guys in there that aren't as experienced. And I'm excited to see new guys step up every week. With some of the wins we were able to get with dual meets this year, it's been pretty impressive. We've had a pretty tough schedule, so beating the teams that we were able to so far is, I just think, a testament to the guys that are buying in and continuing to work and improve.
Yeah. What's the culture like in that room every day?
Culture. I think you got a group of guys that are really committed to being as good as they possibly can at the college level. A lot of them are zoned in to make world and Olympic teams and want to win an NCAA title. So, when you have that in your room, you're gonna showcase the talent, but there's a lot more that goes into it than just the skill set. And I think that's what we're seeing right now is guys that truly believe they can win a national title are going to do all the right things, on and off the mat. And that gets contagious within a program. And it's been able to keep us, at the level we're at and sustain where we don't have, big dips, whether they're, a year where we have a really good year and the next year is down. You want to see consistency every year. And I think that's something we're doing right now.
Yeah, you guys have two more matchups. You have Stanford and Virginia Tech. What's your team's approach going into those next two matches?
Get better at what we can control. And I think that's, this weekend we have off, which has been good. We've had a pretty, demanding schedule, making weight and competing every weekend, but having a weekend off to get guys, feeling really good and focus on some technical things. But when you're not zoned in on a weekend of competition, sometimes you can get some some good skill set in, and I think that's something we're doing. But yeah, we got 2 duels left, and I know these guys are eager and hungry to want to finish on top. So it'll be good momentum going into the postseason, and we just got to control what's in our hands and get better at wrestling.
Well, let's talk about your guys' last duel against North Carolina. Um, you guys came out with a win there, came down to the last couple matches. Um, let's see. Kind of talk about that duel and how it was overall, how the ending went for you guys, and obviously what
Yeah.
you were with these two.
Well, it didn't start all that great. So sometimes in dual meets, momentum can be a factor. And, we ended up losing 33, 41, and 49. So, on the scoreboard, momentum shifting away from us. And then when you have the leadership of Ed Scott and his experience, he was able to get a win and, it started chipping away from there. But the luxury of where we started, you left 2 of the better guys in our lineup to finish at the end. And we knew, if we could get some matches in our favor, that we would be in position with 2 of the best closers on our team. And especially at heavyweight, knowing that Isaac can go out and score bonus points. And, Vinny's as cool as a cucumber when he's under competition. He likes the limelight. So I felt really good on the bench, knowing after Isaac got a pin, I felt like we were in the driver's seat because, Vinny, he definitely likes when the pressure's on and the lights and there's people cheering, and that's exactly what it came down to. And he showed that, he was ready for that moment.
Well, thank you, Coach. What do you guys think about the duel? Can you share a little bit about what you were thinking at the time, mindset going into your matches individually, kind of what the atmosphere was like during that duel?
Yeah, I can go. I'll say I think North Carolina's done a great job of improving not just their wrestling, but they've done a good job of getting more fans into the stadium. The arena the first year I was there wasn't many people in the stands, and there was a lot more NC State people there. And this year it was kind of swapped. There's still a lot of NC State fans there, but there had been a big improvement on how many North Carolina fans were there. So it did feel like we were in a little hostile environment, only being 30 minutes away from our school. But it was nice to have our fans there. And yeah, I didn't feel too much pressure on the match. I went out and I came up 2 silly takedowns, and I knew that most heavyweights gas tank isn't very good. And I knew that if I kept pushing the pace, I'd be able to get a pin towards the end of the match. And I kept pushing the pace after the first 2 takedowns. And I kind of calmed down a little bit and kind of got into a groove and got that pin. It opened up sooner than I expected and locked that up for the team.
Vince, what were you thinking going into that match, going into that final match?
Going into that final match, I was very excited. I was a little worried like before the match, but once I seen Fishback get the major, that was kind of like that was kind of like our going point. And then obviously I had Isaac right behind me, and I knew we was back to back. And so I tell Isaac we like Tom and Jerry or Batman and Robin when we go back to back. So and I knew I knew Isaac was gonna go out there and get bonus points. And once he got the pin, I told Pat, I was like, this is what I live for. So I'm gonna go out there and do what I do best. And I was very excited. It was my first rivalry duel as well, and I was like, all the fans was there, and that's what I like to do. I like perform under pressure when it mattered most. So
Both of you guys have had a pretty good season so far. Can you summarize it in a couple words, maybe just what you were thinking going into the season and how that's kind of how it's happened so far and how your season's going as a whole?
I think the main thing for us as a team is just improvement throughout the season. We had a lot of improvement throughout the season with just people who we had to fill in the lineup. We don't got Jackson Harrington or Ryan Jack, so them people who were that filled them in those spots, they ended up stepping up as the season went on, and I think that was pretty good for us. And obviously, me for myself, I think going into the season, it was just a lot more confidence and just believing in myself and believing in my skills and what I could do. Because I know I put in a lot of work throughout the summer and this my redshirt season. So I think it was just I think going into the season for me, it was just just show everybody what I can do, and that's what I've been showing. So I'm very excited for the postseason.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off that. I was gonna say for myself, I'd also say improvement. I was talking with Zach Esposito yesterday, and I was telling him like I'll go back and like watch some of my matches from early in the year, and I'll just like feel kind of gross, like because I know that I've improved so much from there, and I'll rewatch the matches from the beginning of the season and now, and how I'm wrestling now, and I feel like I've just improved a lot, and it's just all the commitment that we've put in as a team, and all the time in the room, and the coach that put into us, the effort they put into us, and it shows that it's paying off towards the end of the year like we planned.
What are you like most looking forward to coming up with the next two duels and then the ACC championships and then, NCAA's in Philly? What are you guys most looking forward to? Kind of adjusting your style, maybe just fine-tuning some things?
Kind of just fine tuning just fine tuning things all around. My obviously I feel like I am the best in the country on my feet, but obviously just fine tuning my mat wrestling and other areas in my game, and so I'm very excited for nationals. I'm ready for it to go, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to. I'm ready for that last tournament, NCAAs, and what that has in stake for me. But until then, like, there's a few things we still got to improve on. I think I can work on my defense a little bit more now, and just keep working offense continuously every day, and then keep trying to build that gas tank. So when it gets that third period, if I'm down by a point or two, I have that gas tank to go back and push the pace and get that final takedown to win the match.
What are your guys' like mindsets heading into, big duels? Maybe obviously every match is a big match for you guys. You want to win. What are you thinking about before each match? Kind of goes through your mind as you're getting ready to step on the mat.
For me personally, what I approach the match as I'm finna go against. Don't matter who it is. It could be anybody from number 1 in the country to number 33 in the country. I don't care. I approach this. I approach the same match like like he's the number 1 dude in the country, and that's what I want. And that's what I want to be. And I want to end at the top. And so I feel like they're in my way, and I got to get them out my way. And so that's kind of my approach. And just scoring points. Since I've been a kid, my dad always told me go light up the scoreboard before I go out there. And so I just go do what I can to light up that scoreboard. Yeah, it's been a good season so far. So
Yeah, I like to think of it. I've been watching a lot of WWE recently. Kind of weird, but been watching a lot of WWE, and in a match there's always a good guy and a bad guy. There's always a heel. And when we're in a home duel, I was thinking myself as a good guy, and the heel's always trying to take me down and beat me in front of my home crowd. And when I'm in an opponent's gym, it's the opposite. I'm the heel, and I go beat my opponent in their crowd. And that's what I've been looking at it before each duel. And I like to kind of picture in my head like who am I? Like if I was a WWE wrestler, who I am I this match, and who I would be like, what song am I walking out to? What does that guy do? Like, and then contributing that into my wrestling, like, okay, what do I do? Like, what can I go do on my opponent? Okay, I'm gonna do an outside step. I'm gonna do a sweep because that's my signature thing. Like each WWE wrestler has their signature finisher. I'm gonna have my signature finisher and get a pin.
Favorite WWE wrestler?
Uh, Either Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, or Jeff Hardy. Been watching a lot of Jeff Hardy recently.
Very nice.
Heart,
My favorite, Shawn Michaels. So,
yeah, he's a good guy.
on. Um, Coach talked a little bit about culture in the room. Can you guys share a little bit about, what you think about the culture in the NC State wrestling room?
I think the culture. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I came here, right? That was one of the main reasons why I came here. I mean, it only took me one visit, and I was already going. That was just because of the culture and just consistency. I knew that coming to this school would get me way better in my wrestling and just maybe become a better man overall. And so I think the culture in the wrestling room, I think it's a vibe, especially like me and Isaac. It's definitely a vibe. It's just a lot of different personalities, and I mean, if you just there, it's easier to see than explain. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. The culture is what sold me on the program here. And when I was getting recruited in high school, I knew I couldn't afford school wherever I'd go, so I either had to get a full ride scholarship or I'd have to do something else to have to pay for it because my parents weren't gonna. So I did ROTC here, just because I knew that this is the best fit for me to be a good person and a good human growing up after college, and it kind of set me on the right foot forward coming out of college, and it's held up to that since I got here until now. We've kept that same culture, and it's good when you have leaders like Nick Wisdowski, Kevin Jack, Tommy Gant, Nick or Trent Hadley, who have gone through all this, and they've been a part of the culture from when Pat first got here till now, and they keep even when they come in the room, like they still hold that same culture that they had back then, and we hold it up now. So it's easy to keep the culture moving in the right direction when we have guys that have been in the room for so long that are always there still.
And just to tag along to that, like all the trips that we go on this season, they always tell me about Pat old stories, and I think it just gets me excited when they tell me about the whole how Pat is and how he kind of never changed, but I'll be seeing some changes in Pat some days, and I think Pat definitely been giving a good vibe. So
Yeah, Pat's changed a little bit. He's gotten a little
changed
soft.
a little
He's
bit.
gonna have a kid here in a few weeks.
Yeah.
He getting
He's gotten
soft on
soft.
me.
He's
He
turning
getting
into
a
a
little
dad.
soft.
Yeah. Well, you guys have, between Vinny and chasing him around and keeping him in check, you get a little distracted.
Isaac, you made the move to heavyweight this season. This is your first season at heavyweight. What went into that decision? What adjustments did you have to make? How's that been so far?
Uh, there weren't many adjustments. I wrestled heavyweight in high school, which is nothing like heavyweight in college. But I felt like I was I was a bigger 197 pounder, and I was cutting weight, and I always feel like it caught up to me towards the end of the season. I mean, I wasn't doing cutting weight right. I was always waiting until the last day to get my weight down. But I kind of decided after the Olympic team trials, getting second at 97 kilos, I thought like I'm doing better if I'm not cutting weight. Like my body's doing better. I'm performing better when I'm not cutting as much weight. So I decided after 3 years of making 197 that I was going to do what's best for me and go up to heavyweight. And it's worked out good for me, and it's worked out good for the team now too. Uh, but yeah, it's been a lot of improvement. Nick Wisdowski being in the room has really helped out a lot. He's got a little lighter heavyweight feel, and he helps me with stuff that worked for him, and then we kind of fine tune it to where it works for me at the same time too. So it's been nice to have him in the room.
Nice. So each of you, just one final message about, how you guys are going to end the season. What can we kind of expect to see from NC State at the end of the year?
Finishing.
Yep.
Finishing. I feel like the last couple of years at the NCAA tournament, we ain't get what we wanted, and I think just going in the tournament and finishing, I think that's what gets me most excited is just watching. I've been watching NC State since I committed, or even before that, but like even just watching the years before that, and we didn't perform the way we wanted to perform at the tournament. So I think finishing is the biggest thing for me as a team and as a team goal for me, and I think just finishing the tournament in a good standing as a team, and then obviously just finishing on top for myself as well.
Yeah, I'd say the one thing I'm gonna work on for the next till the rest of the season is just consistently getting better at wrestling every day, trying to get better in that in different positions, and then consistency with my conditioning and trying to really take it up one more notch right before the end of the season, so that way I can push the pace and be ready to go. Hopefully only 5 matches, but if I have to go 9 matches to get a medal, I'll do it. So be ready to go for it, whatever it takes to get on the podium.
All right. Coach, did you have anything else you wanted to add about that?
Yeah, I think, these guys touched on it, but in a coaching perspective is make sure these guys have no regret when it comes to the end of the year. And that's something, both sides got to work on, and our athletes being ready mentally and physically. And then as a team, we get what we show up and compete for. And I think that's been something we are striving for right now. And Coach Espo has been helping with some new training techniques and some conditioning. So we'll be ready. But week to week, it's improving. We talked about it this morning. There's still 6 weeks of competition on our schedule, and that's 6 weeks to get better. And that's a lot of time if you really put it in perspective. So we got to take one day at a time and just keep getting better.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today. I look forward to seeing all of you in March in Philadelphia. So
You
thank you.
bet. Thank you.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Savannah.
Thank you.